Welcome everybody to a tier list video. We are going to have 3 different tiers: a cheap tier, affordable tier, and an expensive tier. Every single tier is going to have a bronze medal, a silver medal, and a gold medal. It is very self-explanatory, so sit back and enjoy the video. As well, make sure to check me out on Twitch. We stream 5 days a week at 11 AM UK time. The links will be in the description. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Premier League tier list video. Today is the final video of the series, and in fact the game release for New Zealand anyway is around 16 hours from now, so you guys have seen all of these before the game has dropped. A lot of effort has gone on into these videos, into these tier lists, but today it is a final one. Cheap, affordable, and expensive Premier League goalkeepers. Let's get into it. And as well, I do want to say, with goalkeepers, these are very hard to rank because some goalkeepers are either insane in one match or terrible in the next, and you guys do not understand the amount of goalkeeper reviews. I did some goalkeeper tier list videos in the past, and the amount of people that comment and say, this dude's terrible, you said he was good, and then there's someone else that says he's insane. It is honestly, goalkeepers are inconsistent, that is the game, but what I'm basing this off of is the price, obviously, for the value to, regard them to the correct tier, if you will, but also via stats, via in-game traits, via height, and as well just experience with past goalkeepers and the same goalkeepers in past Fifas. Those are 4 things I will majorly be basing them off today. Yeah, let's go, boys. It was always starting off in cheap tier, taking home bronze. It is going to be no other than Aaron Ramsdale. I think this card looks very nice. The only problem with him is he's 6'2". I think 6'2" is like the borderline for a goalkeeper, right? You do not want really any less than 6'2". Preferably, I'd like a keeper ideally 6'4". Onwards would be absolutely perfect, but nonetheless he does have a rushes out of goal trait. Alright, the rushes out of goal trait is incredible with this card, and in fact if he did indeed have, maybe if he was 6'4", 6'3", then I would have put him in second. And speaking of second, taking home the silver medal in the cheap tier is going to be Areola. Now Areola does not have the rushes out of goal trait, which is why I said if Ramsdale was a little bit taller, I'd probably switch him and Areola around. But this Areola card, boys, is 6'5". Alright, so he does not have the saves, not the saves with feet, sorry, the rushes out of goal trait, but he is a lot taller, in fact 3 inches taller, which means he's going to have more reach. I mean, you would avoid chips, but let's be real, you're not really in too much situations when you do get chipped, but even if you are, you've got a higher chance of the keeper catching it. So I'm going to put Areola just above Ramsdale simply for the height. Ramsdale was a couple inches taller. That rushes out of goal trait I quite like, therefore I probably would have bumped them up, but it is very close. Now, what I've been saying with Areola and Ramsdale, the keeper taking home gold is genuinely a mixture of both. He is 6'6", so he's got Areola's height, in fact he's taller, but he's also got the rushes out of goal trait, which is what Ramsdale has. So he's a mixture of both of them. If you have not guessed already, it is indeed Nick Pope. 6'6", he's got some solid stats. I do think traits and height is more important than actual base stats, as long as the stats aren't, below 60, like a bronze or silver keeper. Then I think all gold keepers were definitely usable. And as I said, goalkeepers are very inconsistent, so I kind of pay attention to the traits and the height for them. And 6'6" is a massive tick, along with the rushes out of gold. He is like the best of both worlds. He's like a mixture of Areola and Ramsdale combined. So Nick Pope for me, it's a no-brainer, it's going to take home gold for the cheap tier. Now, heading on over to affordable, which in my opinion, and I always say it, I believe affordable is the best bang for your buck. The player or card item you get in return for what you spend. In third place, it is going to be an ex-Arsenal lad himself, and it is going to be Emi Martinez. Now, he is 6'5", he's got some solid stats, he's got, I think, a couple traits. I think he's got a goalkeeper long throw, and the comes for crosses, I'm pretty sure, do not hold me to that. I do know he's got a long throw trait, which is solid. I mean, it's nothing crazy. I mean, there's a few situations where you will throw it, but lots of the time, if you are trying to get it down or very far down the pitch, then you'll probably just kick it anyway, so it's not too important. But I believe he has a comes for crosses. It's either comes for crosses or cautious for crosses, and personally, I prefer the goalkeepers that do come out for crosses rather than cautious with crosses. It's a bit of a tongue twister saying all of this, but Emi Martinez, 6'5" or 6'4", I think, very good stats. I think he's just a solid keeper. He's, I think, 7,000 coins at the minute as well, which is not bad. Now, heading on over to silver, we have got a 2-way tie, which is the first time we have had a 2-way tie for the silver, for a silver medal. We have had 2-way ties with bronze medals before in past tier list videos, but for the first time, taking home silver, the medal is going to be shared between Hugo Lloris and David De Gea. When I say it was so hard to try and kind of find one of these which look better than the other. It was very hard. I was sat there 6-7 minutes comparing them, looking at their traits, going through their height. Now, if you look at the base stats, the diving is exactly the same, all right? Lloris has got 3 more handling. De Gea's got 2 more kicking. Lloris has got 1 less reflex, so De Gea's got 1 more reflex. But then Lloris has got 10 more speed if I've got the same positioning. They're very similar, but De Gea is 6'4", Lloris is 6'2". So I was leaning towards De Gea, but then I saw that plus 10 speed on Lloris is very nice, and I do like having that speed as a goalkeeper. I believe both of these guys have cautious with crosses as their traits, and that's literally it. So as for traits, they are lacking in that department, but nonetheless, they were so close. If you guys have used both of these guys for at least 40, 50 games, let me know what you think. But I'm just going to give them both a silver. I think they'll both be solid goalkeepers. If you don't mind a 6'2" goalkeeper and you want a little bit of a faster keeper rushing out, Lloris will be your man. If you want a keeper that is a little bit taller, being David De Gea coming in at 6'4", but maybe not the fastest, he's got 10 less speed, then David De Gea is your man. It just comes down to personal perspective. So that leaves us with the gold medal, and for me it is an absolute no-brainer. We are going to be going for Edouard Mendy. This man is ridiculous, and he is the definition of a controller breaker. I once played this card, and he made 12 saves against me. And last FIFA, or no, it would have been this FIFA, FIFA 22, technically with FIFA 23 now, so last FIFA, I guess you could say, FIFA 22, I played this 83 rated, no it wasn't, it was his 87 signature signings, I believe it was. What's even more scary is this 86 base card looks quite similar to his 87 signature signings, and he made, I think, 12 saves against me. I'm pretty sure, and I'm not over exaggerating, 5 expected goals, I only scored 1. Ever since I've played Edouard Mendy, he has haunted me, alright? People do not deep how important 88 reflexes and being 6'6" is. The mixture of the height, the mixture of the reflexes, this man, if he is, playing well, once again, goalkeepers this year and in every single FIFA to be exact are inconsistent, especially because I think goalkeepers look a little bit dodgy this year from what I've seen of the gameplay, but I think Edouard Mendy is the best of a poor bunch, I guess you could say. Like, it's a no-brainer for me. This man is the definition of a controller breaker. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, the expensive tier, the most elite, in my opinion, Premier League goalkeepers. No specific price on these goalkeepers, but every single one in this tier are a minimum of 20,000 coins. Now, starting off taking home bronze, it's actually the most expensive out of the lot, and that is going to be Dudek. Now, remember, heroes do count, I think, 2 players towards the league and only 1 towards a nation, and they're on full chem themselves, so that is going to be a little bit of a bonus with his heroes Dudek card. He doesn't look anything crazy, he's only 6'2", he doesn't have any crazy good specific traits. I mean, his diving and handling is solid, his kicking's okay, positioning's good, the reflexes is really nice, and 60 speed, you definitely cannot say that's poor, especially for a goalkeeper. I just think I'm just going to put him in there because he's probably the only third, he is in fact the only third goalkeeper that qualifies for the expensive tier. In my opinion, it wouldn't be a bad idea buying this card only if you need chemistry for other Premier League players, because as I said, he counts towards 2 chemistry points for the Premier League, having him in the squad. He'll be on full chemistry himself, I believe that's how heroes work, but I'd much rather, I wouldn't spend 50k on him, lots of that price value. What I like to do and what I like to say is, if you made this card a gold and he was a gold rare card, how much do you think you'd be? In my opinion, he'd be maybe 10,000 coins, alright? He would not be 50k, so I'm not too convinced on spending money on this Dudek card, unless maybe you're either Polish, you're a Liverpool fan, something like that. Then sure, I understand it, but at the same time, I'll probably just avoid him a little bit. Now, heading on to the second and the gold medal, the silver and the gold medal, I should say. They are the 2 Brazilians, Ederson and Alisson. Ederson is going to take home silver, Alisson going to take home gold. When it comes to these actual keepers, there's not much between them. Now, Alisson is coming in at 6'3" tall, and Ederson is coming in at 6'2" tall, alright? You look at their stats, and Ederson has 1 more diving, 3 less handling, 8 more kicking. He has got 1 less reflex, 10 more speed, and 2 less positioning. So going off of these, going off of the height, I think Alisson will be a better keeper when it comes to diving and handling. But if you're looking for a keeper that can rush out of a goal, 64 speed for a keeper is very nice, and 10 more than Alisson. I think it's just down to personal perspective with these, so I don't take this first and second too deep in this tier. I think both Alisson and Ederson are good. I just edge towards Alisson because I know for a fact, for the past couple of years I have used him, he has been very respectable and he hasn't really put much of a foot wrong in my opinion. So I am just going to lean for Alisson. I think the kicking stat for Edison, I'm not going to say it's irrelevant, but I do think 85 kicking is more than enough, and you can always get a chem style if you really want to, get kicking for a keeper. There are chemistry styles for that. I just personally don't think the kicking stat's insane, and I'd much prioritize maybe the positioning or the reflexes, which Alisson is a tiny little bit better in, and obviously an inch taller than Edison as well. Very close between them, but I'm just going to edge it towards Alisson. Ladies and gentlemen, that will conclude the series of version 1 of a Premier League tier list. We've completed all positions: striker, wingers, cams, centre mids, CDMs, fullbacks, centre backs, and the last one today being goalkeepers. I really want to make a version 2 and a version 3 of this as well, one during the mid game of FIFA 23 and one during the end game, so one in 6 months time and one in maybe 11 months time, something like that to keep these going. If you guys want to see that, let me know. Hopefully, these tier lists were beneficial for you. I've been playing FIFA Ultimate Team for 3 or 4 years now. I say competitively, a little bit sweaty. I'm one of those sweats, those drag back sweats in FIFA 21. That was probably me. So I feel like I do have, I'm not a crazy player. I'd say like maybe tiny bit above average, but I have reviewed like 300 plus cards in the past couple years. So just from experience, this is what my tier list, hopefully they can help you in some way. But lads, that'll be me for the video. And once again, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, boys.